Okay, so we are here with Decipher Cards Only Modified. Looks like it's Dirty Randy versus Andy Talaga, and I'm here with WormTime. How's it going, sir?
That's right. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me. And yeah, we got an exciting matchup. Looks like both players 4-0 at this point. And as you know, Andy's kind of on his victory tour here. He has absolutely demolished the Retro League throughout the season, and he's the top scorer across all the different formats so far. So it'll be nice to see what he brings here, and likewise with Dirty Randy, see if he could pull off the big upset.
Yeah, so looks like he's doing light side combat, Andy is, and he's got Insurrection Aim High, another pathetic life form, and Insight serves you well. So he put out the standard. A tragedy has occurred as his grabber, and he has Honor of the Jedi. Any thoughts about this start? Is honor worth it for combat in your experience, or what do you think?
You know, Honor's one of those cards in this format that you could really go either way, but it does force your opponent to go look for no escape, and it can provide some relief if they can't find it. So we'll see if it pays off. I mean, even if it does, if even if no escape comes out, he's only lost one card to it, so it's not a big risk, and it only needs to solve one turn of prevention for it to be worth its weight.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, Dirty Randy is running the TTO build, so he has operational as planned. And so when he gets, he fully, deploys the Death Star 2 and its effects, he can get that ping damage done. So potentially putting out Honor now, kind of preempts that, assuming that Dirty Randy won't get three battlegrounds early. Um, so probably Andy, I guess we'll probably get the honor out there. Um, and it looks like Dirty Randy is getting kind of the standard safe build, Trail Rest Order, Combat Response, and putting Jared on Death Star 2 Docking Bay. That's the safe bet. He has three on turn two, three of the sectors. That's pretty good actually.
Yeah, he. It looks like he's going to be fully operational by the end of this turn, because we see a pause here as the verify. So, oh no, actually that was a
Yeah.
miss. So he did not get it over
No.
turn three.
Yeah, it looks like he couldn't get yeah, it'd be turn three minimum, it looks like.
But that's still a solid start. That's where you aim for with TTO. So you know, if you're Dirty Randy, you got to be happy with that.
Agreed. Agreed. And I'm not
And it'll be
seeing.
interesting to see.
Go ahead.
As it'd be interesting to see what type of space package Andy's running, or if he intends to just kind of camp out on Naboo and turn it into a drain race.
Agreed. Um, I mean, I would think that the standard package Honshu and the Falcon's very popular. Um,
Extremely.
yeah, of course. I guess Zuckuss is the only thing that could kind of somewhat hamper that one card combo. I mean, Andy did put out kind of the mind we have learned, and there were a few ships. So, I mean, generally speaking, he tries to play balanced deck. So, I would assume, unless he kind of treats this deck like profit, I would assume he'd have some kind of space package. Or what are your thoughts there? Do you think you think most combat doesn't have a space package associated with it?
Very light in my experience. I haven't seen many combats with a big space package. I've seen multiple Han chewing the Falcon, sometimes two or three of those, as well as usually they're running at least one, if not two, copies of R2 and Red 5 because it's a 7 Destiny. But of course, you could always put Luke on that ship. So, you know, you put the ability 6 Luke on there. It's very expensive to get down, but it is immune to attrition less than 5. You know, it'll draw Destiny on its own and it'll have a maneuver of 6. So it's fairly difficult to shoot at.
Agreed. Agreed.
Now, what we missed was very interesting. Earlier, there was a Sense, Recoil, and Fear played um, combo card in order to discard a hand. And Andy Talaga was hoping to get rid of Moff Gerard there, but unfortunately, he was not able to.
Yeah. Actually, no, I kind of like that play, and TTO seems to be a very popular build. And I kind of surmise that simply because that, when you have defensive shields, then kind of some of the TTO's weaknesses are a little bit less pronounced. Because you don't get the standard three effects. You kind of are kind of pigeonholed to getting like arrest order and combat response in the kind of the safest builds here. So it makes sense that
Yeah,
Andy would try to preempt Jared. So
absolutely. Now we saw a Darth Maul with Saber lost from reserve. Definitely a key card. Don't know how many Dirty Randy will have, but that could come back to play in effect later in the game.
agreed. Yeah, you definitely want that to try to clear out Naboo as much as possible. And Andy is deploying 3PO this parts showing. I don't know. It seems like this is kind of it seems like at a high level you kind of have to have this card, just to track your destinies. It would seem like so very standard.
Oh, 3PO. Yeah, 3PO is one of the best cards in the format, and I think not only in this format, but he's really stood the test of time and is still used in decks today. The ability to recycle a card every hand is just extremely powerful. And in fact, what was always interesting to me when I returned to the game was you had this really powerful card, Forlom with concussion rifle, and everybody used it. And you could target anyone and cancel their game's text. And it was really great for getting rid of immunity or for Ben Kenobi's resurrection powers. But then 3PO with parts showing proved so powerful that they came out with Forlom with concussion rifle virtual, and everybody uses that, which just for the recyclability, and says it's worth it to lose that powerful Forlom ability of canceling game text. So it's definitely a powerful card and a powerful ability to have every turn.
Agreed, agreed. And we talked earlier about kind of like Janus, where Janus to use his ability he had to use one force, whereas 3PO is you don't have to have one force. So I guess to some degree, I don't know. Would you think it makes tracking easier because you don't have to have one force? Obviously, it's one less force to use, so it's easier from that standpoint. From a tracking standpoint, does it make a difference?
I think Janus is actually easier to track with, but I think 3PO is the more powerful tracker.
Yeah,
And the reason I say that is that Janus will put the card always on the bottom of your used pile. So it's very easy to know where it is. It's at the bottom. 3PO, though, puts it on top of the used pile, which gives you the ability when you have more force to still get it your next turn and not have to wait several turns to get to your track destiny.
that's a good point. Yeah, may place top
Are
card
you?
use pile on top of your reserve deck. All right, so it looks like we have a battle. He has at least two Darth Mauls with Dr. Evans on Ponda Baba, and obviously trying to hope to hit Yoda with one of these lightsaber strikes and just eliminate him and not have to suffer from attrition. It looks like.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see either a dodge or a blast the door kid here, though. There's no way that this first battle's going off.
And he does have 12 cards, and he has two force pile. Let's see. Yep, you're
There's a
right.
dodge.
Dodge.
Yeah, they're always prepared for the first one. You really gotta be pesky with combat if you want to fight them because they're gonna come with tricks and they're gonna try to avoid those battles.
Agreed. No combat cards on Yoda yet, though. So you can only put
No, I
one
think
per
he's
turn.
probably gonna. Yeah, I think he wants to use Qui Gon as his combatter. So we'll probably see a Qui Gon come down, put a combat card, and either decide this turn or the next that he's going to go after. I think Andy can be patient here because we see that there's no space deployed for Darkseid right now, so he's not really causing any damage. He does have a drain of one at the what is that, the generator, the
Yeah,
generator.
yeah.
So a drain of one, Andy's not going to be too concerned over that, I don't think. And if he's not ready to duel, I think we might even see a one turn pause from Andy.
So now Dirty Randy, he didn't move. I guess maybe he didn't have enough force. So if you're Dirty Randy, do you
Well,
try to
I
move
don't
to
think he
Yoda?
wants to move. No, because Yoda can't drain there. because
Oh, you're
he
right.
has a
Yeah, yeah,
Jedi.
yeah, you're right. The
Uh,
objective won't let him drain. But okay, yeah,
Yoda's just kind of chill.
yeah, okay. All right. And then, if, of course, if they did battle the Intelligence Generator Core, they'd go to use pile. So maybe you'd like Yoda to go to lost pile. Hmm.
Yoda would not, so they got to be ability less than 5. So Evazan would go if he was hit, but Yoda would still get hit as normal, stay through the battle, and then be lost at the end.
Yeah,
But we do see Qui-Gon coming right down with Maul, so I expect that we will be seeing some lightsaber combat here.
I would imagine so. So yeah, he used Unita to get back his control and tunnel vision, and then he hasn't used it yet. It's still in his hand. All right, yep, lightsaber combat. So yeah, R2 and red 5. Yep, he had that card, like you
Mm-hmm.
said earlier. And then he
So
drew a
that's a
1.
big one draw there. That's big because if he had made the other mall lost, that might be the only two malls. Oof. Well, now we got a 1 here
You need, okay, 6. Okay, so he's
and
gonna
5.
lose. Yeah,
He'll lose, but he'll survive. So we'll see him top deck 4, and Qui Gon will, or I'm sorry, he won't have top deck, but he'll lose 4, and Qui Gon will move away.
of course. Yeah, yeah, 2 plus 2.
This is a happy turn for lightsaber combat. You know that's really what it's looking to do is 4 damage per turn, whether it be 2 and 2 in drains or 4 straight on a combat with Qui Gon. That's the objective, and so Andy every turn is going to be trying to load up Qui Gon with some combat cards and then use him as his weapon. Would be my expectation that we're going to see here.
Right.
And if I'm Dirty Randy, you got to get to space. You got to get to space and turn on that ping.
Yeah, I agree. He's been kind of delaying his main plan, kind of the main point of TTO. So it makes me wonder. Yeah, obviously he was trying to get rid of Yoda earlier. He was gambling out of the 12 cards. He didn't have a dodge, but obviously Andy did. So, would you say that the standard
Ooh.
package here is 2 dodges minimum, or like how many ratios?
Yeah, at least, yeah. I would say, probably most are running 4 to 5 battle evasion cards. You're going to have a mix of dodge, and you're going to have a mix of it's a trap and the aforementioned blast the door kid.
Yeah,
And they'll use those to different degrees. That way, Monarch's not hitting them for all of them at the same time. But this is an interesting decision here that he has brought Yoda and Qui Gon over. So blast the door kid would work, but he can no longer play dodge, and he does have 3 force for it's a trap as well. But again, that was only a drain of 1, so I'm kind of curious as to Andy's decision there. But like I said, he's the champ, so I'm sure he has a plan.
yeah. I mean, if Dirty Randy has first strike, it's a trap won't work. So maybe,
Correct.
yeah.
Correct.
So maybe the other card is possible. Just to dodge both of them. But I don't know.
There's also it's a trap is also canceled by a card. I think it's called inconsequential barriers.
True.
It's a newer card from one of the later sets that Decipher put out. I shouldn't say newer, but it's one of the cards from the later sets Decipher put out. But it cancels a lot of good things, including it's a trap and Rebel Barrier. So it's a real nice card to keep in your deck, and it has an alternate use that you could peek at the top card of your force pile and either keep it there, put it on the bottom of your force pile, or the bottom of your reserve deck, I want to say.
Yep. All right. So finally, we got some deployment to Kashyyyk. Now, Dirty Randy does not
Yep.
occupy 3 battlegrounds, so Honor the Jedi will protect him. So he needs at least one more battleground. I
Yep.
don't love. Well, I guess it's the safe play, and he does have 12 cards if he put him Chewy there, but. Hmm. I guess better safe than sorry, but yeah, it's unfortunate for Randy. Let's see.
Well, he's making it very dangerous to battle him there, and even if Han Shui the Falcon comes down, there's a good chance you could just forfeit Saber 1 and Fell and still have the very powerful Meand Scythe 1 there.
Blaster
Or is that
Reflection.
Scythe 3 with Hebsley? Oh,
Yeah.
that's Hebsley there.
Yep.
That's an interesting one. I don't know
Yeah,
if I want
he's
Hebsley by himself.
yeah, he's the second best one. Hmm.
Okay. 5 for a Destiny. Gonna need a 3 or higher here.
Did it.
Oof. And there goes Qui-Gon. That's a big hit.
That's what he needs. The combat card will go to use pile. Cypher's being very nice.
So now, question is does Andy have a Hujix? Because now that the battle's ongoing, I don't think there's any way to get Yoda out of there.
Don't think so either. Of course, Yoda's immune to attrition. So it's a question how much damage he can do. So
The answer turns out to be a lot.
yeah, there's Bless the Door Kid.
So it looks like he's going to take about 4 overflow here. That's not too bad,
If he forfeits, yes.
given the circumstances. But he will lose Evazan and Pandababa. And Maul's now by himself.
Agreed. All right, so Andy does try to minimize damage. And he didn't put Yoda on top, so he wasn't worried about getting him first from a draw their fire first strike. Interesting.
And he loses some key cards there, a Jedi's Resilience, Qui-Gon's Lightsaber, and Obi-Wan's Lightsaber. So not critical cards, but very much ones that you like to have in your hand and be playing in this deck. And here comes the Death Star. So we've really seen a turnaround. Turn 4 here has been all Dirty Randy.
Agreed. Force pile, lost pile is 8 versus 8. So not bad.
Well, that's the strength of lightsaber combat. Is it puts very few cards on the table. So even though they have 8 and 8 in lost pile, if you look at the life force differential here, with Talaga having 37 and Dirty Randy has only 29 in hand and life force combined, you just see, the power of not putting out a lot of cards. TTO opposite direction puts a lot of cards down on the table.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those unfortunate design decisions. I know they're trying to, emulate the movie a little bit here and have kind of this race through it, but yeah, TTO is a very card intensive deck, and of course having this, we shall double our efforts, which is good to add it. So to really get the most out of this objective, you really have got to like speed drain here. So, it's
Mm-hmm.
turning out that, that the Andy's decision to deploy Honor the Jedi early is really paying off here.
Yeah, and it only needs to again pay for 1 turn. So next turn, when instead of a ping of 3, he's getting a ping of 1 from TTO. It's already done its job, and he gets the added bonus that it might continue to do its job. So that's the interesting thing about Honor of the Jedi. Now some will start no escape, especially if they're playing like Hunt Down and things like that. But TTO can't do that.
Well, it can, but then, like you have to like deploy Jared to the bunker, or you have to get lucky and get another site here. And so a
Yeah.
lot of people are wary of spies, although granted, there aren't as many light side spies. Kind of the Decipher cards only meta, just because there's so many other options you can, but it's an existential risk. Um, and so yeah, you would generally not expect to see that card. I agree.
So we got Qui-Gon coming back in and stacking a combat card as well as his lightsaber. And here we go.
Yeah, the odds are in his favor.
See what he stacked.
Another one.
Another R2.
He probably has at least two in the deck, which mirrors his mind. We have learned.
Mhm, mhm. And so that's a big total there. Ooh, but a seven.
He has a
A
chance.
seven to start.
Okay,
Seven and a five.
tie.
Wow, a tie.
Amazing.
Impressive. And Darth Maul is really proving formidable down there on Naboo.
About time. Now, if you were Randy, would you try moving to the adjacent site if you were alone? Because he stayed there. He opted to just draw and save the force. I guess argument is one more drain potentially isn't worth it.
I don't think that he's going to ever get the drain off. Like, I think that, he's just kind of expecting that Andy, which he did, is just going to come down with Qui-Gon again, so that he can use that force to do something else with it and put it to productive use. So I kind of agree with that. I guess there's something to be said that, it is still early in the game, and perhaps um, he didn't have a Jedi, but he had that control in hand. So if Dirty Randy was really savvy, he would know that he could have pulled any card from his force pile. Um, I think eventually you probably want to get Maul over there, just because if for any reason they want to attack you, they have to do it with non Jedi cards. So, we're looking at Lando, we're looking at Leia. And those cards, if Maul swings at them in the core, then they go to the use pile immediately. So he can get rid of two of those minor characters. So makes him harder to attack. So to that point, I'd say, yeah, end destination probably should be the generator core. Kind of makes sense. I think you're right.
Losing Jedi Knight Luke from hand. It's an interesting choice. I'm
He
trying to
might
think.
have two. He might have two.
I mean,
Luke also isn't as critical. I think Qui Gon's the critical character in this deck. So
yeah, no
now we
escape.
finally see no escape. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Actually, yeah, getting Ponda Baba back, that's good, actually.
Absolutely, and he knows that he has the 7 and the 5 in his. Ooh, but a barrier there.
Yeah,
You
there's
would
no
have
more
you would have
grabbers, and he
liked to.
doesn't have the counter. Yeah,
Yeah, you would have liked to battle, swing at Qui Gon, and operate on him so that Maul and Evazan are both still there. Um, Now you're gonna have to survive another combat before you get that opportunity.
100%.
But I do like Dirty Randy's position so far. He's got a ping of 3 and a drain of 2 set up. So that's 5 damage he's going to be doing every turn.
Right.
And he's going to have to do something about that. Oh, wow. So this is bold because if he can't Dark Strike Qui-Gon, then Maul's going to die, and Evazan's going to be by himself.
Well, he got him. Got hit anyway. That's a good point, though. Dark Strike, in addition to everything else, would not be a bad thing.
Yeah, I like the sniper combo card with Dark Strike because I could use it with my tie weapons as well in this type of deck, which is kind of nice. So if you want to shoot with Meanda during your control phase, if you want to shoot with Saber 1 during your control phase, all possible. And then if you're crazy like me and you run bombers, you can bomb a site during your control phase.
That is no, that I saw you did a couple games. That's one of the coolest combos for sure. Was not common that we see that.
Yeah, no one sees that one coming. If it's kind of fun because they'll put some ships at their system to protect their characters at a docking bay, and you can still use the sniper to destroy all their characters at the docking bay in one shot, which is pretty nice.
Okay, he's gonna shoot him. He's gonna attack him more just for fun. Okay, just check your destinies. Hopefully, Dirty Randy's tracking
I
these
think
well.
he knows that there's a 7 on the bottom, right? So he wants to get to that 7 for his battle destiny to
Okay,
make sure he doesn't take any damage. and possibly inflict some of his own.
True. There we go. You're right. Nice.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting, you know, in this game, you want to have a lot of life force, but you almost want to have a middle amount of life force so that you can get those track destinies every single turn rather than every 2 turns. It's back Boosh, not really going to help him too much, and it puts a 1 back in the deck. Oh, he loses her right away. I see. Smart play by Andy. I like that.
Yeah.
But now, like I said, Evazan is all alone. So what's going to happen here is going to be interesting. Certainly susceptible to getting beat down. That being said, 2 Qui-Gons have been lost. At least 1 Qui-Gon's lightsaber, maybe 2 lightsabers have been lost. An Obi-Wan with lightsaber's been lost. Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight's been lost. So he's probably got 2 Qui-Gons, 1 or 2 Obis, and 1 or 2 Lukes left to fight with.
I assume if he lost a Luke, he had a Luke in hand. But I mean,
That's what I would think.
I would think, but I mean, we'll handle this. He doesn't have to fight Ponda Baba. I mean, literally, he can just, you can just like leave Luke there, I guess. Well,
But you want to do overflow here. You know,
yeah,
Ponda is ability 2, and if I was, I think Dirty Randy really should have moved Ponda Baba over to the core generator here, because then if he was hit by a lightsaber, he doesn't just turn forfeit 0, he goes to the use pile, so there's no battle damage. So
true.
you preserve his forfeit by moving him to the core generator, and I think that's where he belonged.
I agree. All right. Well,
Yep.
there's an Obi-Wan, unsurprisingly.
Yep. So
So
here's the trouble coming. Yeah.
yeah, this is
Yep.
gonna hurt. Yeah, he should have moved over. Yeah.
And I do think, though, Gick and Rebels Won't Escape Us, a very thematic card for TTO, so he could be prepared for this. He better be, because otherwise he's going to be in a world. This is going to be a real bad battle for Randy, like a game-breaking battle if he
Yeah, if he doesn't have a Gick or some trick, yeah, we're in
he
trouble
does have a
here.
7 for Destiny, though. He does have a 7 for Destiny coming here.
True.
So that's going to help him, but still, he's down, even with that Destiny, he's down 3 plus 2 Destiny of overflow. He's going to need a Gick.
No,
Ooh.
he
Is
denied
Andy
that
listening to
7.
the stream that's not even going yet? Like, Andy knows he has the 7 there too, and shuffles that pile. Yep, Dirty Randy definitely was counting on that 7.
That's actually one of the most
Mm-hmm.
effective uses of that I've seen.
So now we got a 6 and a 2 and 8.
Yeah, 21
From
power.
1 to 3, so he's down 18 before this Destiny draw.
Well, 4.
4.
Yeah,
He's going to need that Gick, or he's going to be down to very, very few life force here.
agreed. There we
There
go.
it is. Not the combo card, though. Very interesting.
Guess he's going for the masterful move version, which I still love. I know it's less, less popular nowadays in this format, but
But you can pull it. You can pull it, and that's good.
exactly.
So again, Dirty Randy showing a lot of nice preparation here, and again, still with that 5 damage due every turn that Talaga's going to have to come up with an answer for, and you see that the life force, which was we looked at it earlier, was 37 to 29, so a differential of 8, is now 26 to 27, so a differential of 1. So it's extremely tight, and Randy has a 5 force damage initiative here.
Agreed. So Dirty Rainy turn, 9 cards in hand, 17 life force. If he was able to get to indoor and secure it, well, He could still lose the drain race just on the ground. If that's the issue.
No, I mean if he gets to Endor, he's doing 7 damage a turn to 4 damage a turn,
Oh
and
yeah, he has no escape.
both
You're
are
right.
paying
Yeah,
for
yeah,
drain.
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, both are paying for drains, so that's another thing that Andy's got to keep in the back of his mind. That as this game gets closer, of course, he's going to need to either come up with a space presence, or he's going to run out of ability to pay for drains faster, as Dirty Randy is only paying 3 for 5 damage compared with 6 for 4 damage that Andy would need.
All right. Yeah, Honor Jedi
It's a
protected
good
against
grab of.
Imperial Artillery. Now that was a good grab.
Yeah. Now, do you think Dirty Randy knew that Honor of the Jedi was going to cancel that and was just trying to get the 7 prepared for, say, like a lightsaber combat? Or do you think that that was just he slipped and forgot that Honor of the Jedi cancels that?
I think he was just doing it by rote, because the only reason to do that is for some reason you really want him to grab your Imperial Artillery, which I find hard to believe. You know,
I
like
do it sometimes actually, or I'm sorry, not to have them grab it, but to just cycle it back in, even if they have honor out, because I know that in the end I need that 7 for a particular task, whether it be to bomb a site, to shoot down home one, or whatever. Sometimes, and it's funny because a lot of times my opponents won't grab it because it's not dealing them damage, which is nice because it's always I hate them grabbing it.
well, I mean, hypothetically, what other interrupt would we want to keep around other than Imperial Artillery? Like if you're trying to, you know, you know, entice him to grab a card, so you really want another card. It's hard for me to imagine what else you would want than that.
He wouldn't. He wouldn't. Sometimes what I got to do is just hide it completely and just make them feel like I'm never going to play it, and then they get like, "Well, I guess I got to grab something."
Right.
Then
Exactly.
they'll grab an interrupt they shouldn't. The old boredom trick.
Yeah. No. Well, of course, absolutely. Okay. So yeah, there's the third Qui-Gon Jinn. That's the third Obi-Wan with lightsaber. Now, why wouldn't you do two on Obi-Wan? I guess he's assuming that he's not gonna get more than four and cause Darth Maul to be lost, I guess.
It's a good question. The immediate answer that I would say is Qui Gon deals more damage 4 versus 2 for winning on against Obi Wan. And if he has the other Obi Wan on his deck, he can later have Qui Gon use Obi Wan's. I think the Naboo Obi Wan Kenobi can share his combat cards with Qui Gon.
Okay, it's
6 and a 5
11.
plus the saber is a 12. Randy with another 7.
Wow,
Ooh, and a 6, and he wins.
amazing.
Darth Maul is just putting in work, and Andy with the frustration here. I don't blame him. This is not going according to plan.
So, okay.
You really feel like you're going to win those combats as light side.
So if you're Randy, do you just activate 14 force and just leave those two force there and you only pay to, three? Or do you just
Oh,
not even force drain?
100%. You don't even need to pay because you got Maul down there, and you basically say beat 13. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you don't even
Actually, it's going to
drain. You
make it
don't pay for
even
battle.
better.
Oh no, you don't need to pay for battle order. That's right. He doesn't have to pay for it. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He doesn't have
Activate
to pay for
14.
anything. So he's going 5, and he's got 13 saved for Destiny. It's a very difficult situation for Andy at this point.
Let's see if Dirty
Yeah,
Randy
he needs
decides
either
to do
two
that.
sevens or a 7 and 6. Crazy. Yeah, Andy is in a very, very bad spot right now. And I know you had been talking about the power of TTO in this shielded format, and Dirty Randy is really just he's putting on a show so far in this game.
100% agreed. So let's see if he's going to capitalize. Oh, please capitalize. Oh no.
Oof.
Okay. All
Oh.
right. Well, that's smart on Andy's part. Can't blame him for that.
You see why Andy is so far the champ. I mean, he's making the plays that he can. He's been, kind of unlucky with these destinies. I mean, I say kind of because you look at Randy's deck construction and he obviously played for a lot of high destinies. So part of that is by design. But Andy has done the best with what he's had.
All right. Verifying the deck. See what he has now. Yeah, basically though, you can initiate lightsaber combat even if your opponent doesn't have the requisite force. So if your opponent had, one force in the reserve, you can initiate combat against them, right?
That's correct. Yeah, they just lose drastically. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're Andy, you kind of have to force your opponent because he has two Jedi there. So basically, he can force Randy to have to fight at least twice and hope to, win one of those at least.
No, so he can only initiate lightsaber combat with one of them per turn, though.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, you said once during move
So
phase.
there
You're
goes
right.
Han Chewie and the Falcon.
Yeah.
I mean, that's and he's only got 8 force, so basically, it's official that he's never coming to space at this point. Um, I just don't see how this isn't a wrap at this point. Quite honestly, I think that Dirty Randy is building up for a battle. I wouldn't even battle. I wouldn't. I would just say, I'm doing 10 damage the next 2 turns. You have 11 total life force, and you have to pay to drain. So 2 turns and it's over. You know.
You're right. This
I
is
feel this is a little unnecessary, but hey, what do I know? Dirty Randy's putting on a show. Let him work.
yeah, I guess so. I mean, this is not a differential game. A win is a win. So
A win is a win. Yeah, I probably would have gone the safe route, but he's gonna show. Well, he knows what's in his reserve, so I would imagine he's definitely taking out both Jedi here.
well,
He
if
might even with that
yeah, sorry
destroyer
about the
droid, maybe
mess.
even.
I guess lose one force. Okay. All right.
Yeah, this is all bad for Andy.
Yeah. There's a hit.
Yep. And I think Obi-Wan's getting hit too.
Well, even if he doesn't, he has no immunity attrition. So
Yeah. And at this point, I mean, even if Andy was to get his characters deployed next turn, he's going to get what, one drain of 2 in before he's lost so much force he can't even drain.
yeah. And he's stacking his deck.
No, he's just giving last gasps here. Unfortunately, I think Andy knows that this game's locked up. Like I don't even think if Andy had 2 turns in a row, maybe even 3 turns in a row, there was a way that he could get this game in order.
Yeah.
Yep, there he goes. Very impressive. So Dirty Randy then we'll go to 5-0. I don't know if there's any other players that are at 5-0 yet. I know we had a couple more who had the possibility. No. So we have Fred Kipple, we got Joe Horby as the other two 4-0s. And Randy will face the winner of that game unless they both play the same side this round.
Gary Randall will be left with P59 to give himself presence.
Yep.
And question
Not
is,
pay for his drains.
the question is, does Andy have a Jedi in hand. If Andy has a Jedi in hand, he can kill off this P-59.
He can kill off P-59, but he's going to get shot, actually. If you saw, Phantom Menace just went to
To
the
use pile.
reserve,
Yeah.
to the, I'm sorry, the youth pile. So that'll be on top unless he moves. So he knows that, even if a Jedi comes down, he can still shoot him with that 7. Um, yeah, Dirty Randy's just, oh, well, now he moves him. I wouldn't have moved him in this case just for that sole purpose. I mean, we talked about the benefits of him being there, but in this case, now the 7 isn't on top. So I would have left him at the generator, but hey, no big deal. Again, he can't lose this game.
Yeah, 13 life force is going to lose minimum 3 a turn, so even if he doesn't drain, he's dead pretty quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and he's going to have to spend another card here to deploy, to go fight this guy.
All right.
There's
Well, there's the
Luke.
Luke.
But Luke's dead no matter what because now he'll draw. Well, nope, because he can send him a use pile now, and so that's kind of why I would have put him. But he's only got 1 in reserve, so unless he knows it's a, what does he need, a 6? No, he needs a 5.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not even gonna. Yeah, I mean this is kind of, he
Yeah.
could activate 1 here and then just shoot Luke. That's what I would do. I would activate 1 force
Yep.
and blast Luke.
Agreed.
Along with the 5 damage.
Yes.
And then doesn't this guy do damage just for hitting? And then he loses 2 more for hitting Luke. Yeah, activate 1. Then he's losing 7 this turn.
No, he didn't do it.
Yeah, what we need to do, Bill, is we need to get you a Twitch here because so they got 9 players watching this right now. Well,
Yeah.
7 players watching right now. Um, oh, it's interesting. I see Dead Body and D Tartag 1 in here. Were they doing I gotta see if they were streaming it
They
at
might
the
be.
same time.
They might be.
See what they're doing over there. Nope, it's offline. So they didn't stream this one. They did just do a stream like shortly ago, Kipple versus Matthew Harrison Trainer. So they might have wanted a break. And I know that Dead Body was going to do, I think, a second stream later tonight. So he might be getting a rest before that.
All right. Well, so he didn't do your suggestion of it. So he's moving. So he didn't track that 1. He's gonna let Luke drain, I guess.
Yep.
But it's not.
Yeah, and so be it. It's not differential. There's nothing Andy can do here, and it's going to be it's going to be over next turn. And it is kind of nice that he moved Gerard because now he has to deploy something to cover Gerard and move Luke just to cover those 2 drains. And if he does that, then he only has 5 left. So it's going to be over no matter what this turn. I guess you could say a control can delay it 1 more turn, but yeah, there's the GG. And you got to tip your hat to Randy. He really played an excellent game there. Had some fantastic destiny draws. Maul just was a terror on Naboo, and what can you say? Great game.
Good game. No. Surprising to say. So nicely done. All right, cool. All right, then we'll cover
Well, I
this.
think it was a great first stream.
Likewise. No, it was awesome. We're in time. Let's do it again. Thanks, sir.
Excellent, yeah. And for those who happen to catch this video on Bill's channel, we're going to try to do some more games, some different retro styles, and I know that previously a lot of the streams have only been the very high level games, but I think we'd like to get some casual games in there as well, and get some of these players who are out there putting in the work every day some views as well.
Absolutely. No, it'll be a lot of fun to get some variety for folks to enjoy and getting people a chance to catch some games they might not otherwise too. So, all right. Talk to you all soon. Take care.
All right. Catch you next time.